Dire Mole has come out, humidity is destroying my hair, and today I wanna tell you what are the wall buffs that you gotta get and in what order, because I got many questions regarding this. It is very different from Sol. In my opinion, it is very stupid, but we're gonna have to cope with it and we're gonna have to learn how to live with it. So this is how you get your wall buffs. First of all, before everything else, please install Nova wall buffs. It's in the recommended add-on channel in my Discord, obviously. This add-on is in Course 4, so you can probably get it somewhere else too. This add-on is pretty much all you need. I'm gonna show you in game. Very well, so this add-on, very simply, you click the icon in your minimap and it will show you the timers. What are the timers? Well, in 20th anniversary, unlike SOD, there is a 3-hour cooldown and a, I think, 2-hour cooldown for Rend. So if you're in a layer and somebody dropped Onyxia head, like they turned in the quest, and 3 hours didn't pass since the previous guy in that layer did it, it will not drop, it will not give you the buff. Why is it this way? I got no idea. It is very stupid, but that means that there is only a certain time where Onyxia and Rend can drop, and you can see the timers in there. These timers do not mean it's gonna drop in that time. Okay, like it says Rend in 26 minutes, that means it's gonna come off cooldown in 26 minutes. Then somebody actually has to go there and drop the buff. But these timers will tell you the cooldowns, so you can arrange yourself to be online during those times. You got Rend and you got Onyxia that will drop in your capital city. Onyxia is 10% crit, of course, and 140 attack power. It is one of the strongest buffs in the game. Of course, you want to get Onyxia, and it's 2 hours. So it is really, even if you don't get it quite at the same time, it is fine. And that's an important thing we're going to talk about. And Rend is 1 hour. And it is 15% melee haste and 300 HP. It also is like 10 MP5. If you're a caster, you probably don't care about that, but this is a warrior video though. It is pretty worthless for them anyway. But 15% melee haste is 15% more rage generation. That's freaking huge. So, and more damage, of course, is more damage. So, of course, you want to get it too. But here's the thing, okay? One thing that people do not talk about, that is that there is an order that you should get your wall buffs on, because this is the second stupid thing about wall buffs in Era. This is the Chronoboon displacer, the normal Chronoboon that we got in SOD. Everybody knows it. You get your wall buffs and then you pop this thing and you store your wall buffs. And whenever you wanna do whatever in the raid, you just pop it again and you open it and you get your buffs back. It preserves your buffs. Now here's the thing. In Era it has a 1 hour cooldown, which was always the case. In SOD they changed it to like 5 minutes in phase 3 or 4 or something. That is not the worst in the world, because you log out or you do something else and then you go back. You know, like you gotta wait an hour in between buffs, or you will not be able to pop it again to charge your Chronoboon again to store your buffs again, because the cooldown. But it costs 10 freaking gold in Era. 10 gold. And granted, we did need a gold sink in the game to stop inflation. I don't think it's gonna make much of a dent anymore because the bots and stuff, but yeah, you can see the logic. But this thing costs 10 freaking gold, so it's not like you can just spam them. In so they were 25 silver, of course. So we want to structure our wall boss route, our wall buff getting schedule in a way that we need to boon the least, because it is a bunch of money that we're wasting every raid. So what is the most optimal way to acquire every single buff? You can mix and match it. You can like try to play the puzzle a little bit, because obviously the best way to do it is to unboon, log out, wait until the buff drops and do it again over and over and over again, and spend like 5 Chronoboons in the course of like 5 hours, so you get like 0 seconds lost in your buffs. But the average player is not gonna be doing that, obviously, because like what is like 50 gold just to get your wall buffs, just so you can get like 4 minutes less on Rend. Like look at my Chronoboon right now. I got my flower, I got my Rend, and I got my Onyxia, and they are like 0 minutes. But now Dire Mole came out today, so I'm gonna have to go get Dire Mole later, and the process of getting the buff is gonna like, I'm gonna have to remove my boon, I'm gonna have to pop it open, and then I'm gonna have to pick up all the buffs, and that is gonna take some minutes out of my buff. That sucks. And buffs like Rend and Songflower are only 1 hour, so you are not gonna have them the entire raid if you're not like clearing very fast. Molten Core, yeah, we are like under an hour on clears now, but you know, like most people are not. Even if you do, there's always like some sort of jank or like you lose like 10 minutes doing something and boom, you don't have it on Ragnaros. That freaking sucks. But the order that most people do, even if it is not the most optimal for world buff preservation, because this is the most reasonable money-wise order that you can do. First, you wanna get Onyxia and Rend buff. It is not the case every time, but most of the time nowadays people coordinated so Rend and Onyxia drop at the same time. If you join the Discord of your server, people are talking about it, but you can look at the timers and kind of figure it out. Worst case scenario, you get Rend, for example. You get Rend and you log out and you wait the timer because you can see the timer in your add-on once again, and then you log back in because when you log out, your buffs do not run out. That's also important. And you make sure that you get Rend and Onyxia first. The reason you want to do it is because Rend and Onyxia are not reliable buffs. They drop whenever people feel like it, whenever the cooldown is off. So if you are like stuck a couple minutes waiting for Oni and Rend to drop because the timer is off cooldown but it doesn't drop instantly for whatever reason, that is time that you lose. So I like getting Oni and Rend first, and then I like doing Dire Maul. Now you can boon, for example boon your buffs, then go to Dire Maul and clear Dire Maul, do a Dire Maul North run. That's what you do, a tribute run. You go to Dire Maul, you skip all the bosses, you kill the king and you become king and you talk to the NPCs. You guys know what a Dire Maul tribute run is. You can pay, let's actually look at the game chat right now actually. Let's take a look at it. I haven't checked it yet. Ooh, that's weird. There is nobody selling tribute runs yet. Okay, so basically you can buy from a hunter usually because they solo the place. They sell the cleared ID to Dire Maul tribute, Dire Maul North, and you just go, you walk in it, you don't have to clear anything because it's already cleared, and you just get the buff from them. Usually they summon you there, and that's important. A lot of hunters that sell the IDs also sell the summons. I bet it's gonna be heavily botted anyway. As a matter of fact, I think Warlock summoning bots are gonna buy an ID from some hunter and then they are just gonna use that ID. That's what they are probably gonna be doing. But you pay somebody in trade chat, they are gonna pop out and they are gonna summon you to the Dire Maul and you can go pick up the buffs immediately. That way you can save the Chronoboon, but it takes you like 5 minutes to get to the end of Dire Maul and back. So you're gonna be losing like 10 minutes of your buff. And once again, that freaking sucks. So you are gonna have to do the first boon after you get Rend and Onyxia. You take Rend and Onyxia and then you do a Chronoboon and then you go to Dire Maul. You either clear normally or you buy an ID, whatever you wanna do when you are booned so you don't die, because remember you gotta travel there and if you die without boon on you, you lose the buffs. You gotta start over. You do Dire Maul and you get Moldar's Moxie, which is 15% stamina, and you can also get Fengus Ferocity, which is 200 attack power. Now 15% stamina for a DPSer might sound like worthless, but it is not worthless. I couldn't tell you how many times I die because I pull aggro on trash. Like 15% is very much a difference between like getting one shot by a golem in Molten Core or not. There is also like a spell crit one, but we're not casters, so we don't need that one. But there's 3 buffs in Dire Maul total. And then if your Chronoboon is on cooldown, you're gonna have to log out, wait an hour, and then Chronoboon again. So we have Rend, we have Onyxia, and we have Dire Maul. That is not it. That is not it. Okay, now, the first week of every month, there is the Darkmoon Faire. Now, once again, Nova World Buffs is gonna make it so you talk automatically to the NPC, but there is this guy in Darkmoon Faire that is in Elwyn Forest or in Mulgore, and it changes every month, so it's super annoying. If you're an Alliance, you gotta go to the Horde zone. If you're a Horde, you gotta go to the Alliance zone. And welcome to why play PvP freaking sucks in this game, 101. It freaking sucks so much. But I had to play PvP. Everybody wanted to play PvP. What you need to do if you are in the opposing faction and you gotta get this buff, because you have to get this buff. It is 10% damage. Look at it, 10% freaking damage, 2 hours. Of course you wanna get this freaking buff. That means you want to coordinate with your guild or with a group of people and get like 20 people at least together so you can storm the place, just run into the guy and know everybody turns it and turn his seed in at the same time, and that way hopefully people don't try to turn on you and kill you, because if you get killed you gotta start over. And it is a 2-hour buff, so it is not the end of the world if you wanna start with this buff. I still prefer starting with Onyxia and Rend, but yes, you have to come here booned, you have to get to the NPC and boon, get the buff, and then you wanna hard out or you wanna log out, but you wanna boon it again essentially. So you wanna get like if you don't see like people trying to kill you, you can boon in place, and that's the best scenario. But otherwise, most people what they do is they open a mage portal next to you. Once again, group of 20 people, and you just get the buff and you immediately right click the portal. It's gonna be next to you. That's the best way to do it. You have a mage, drop a portal next to this NPC, and if you take the portal, you're in a city, you're safe again, and you can log out or boon or whatever. Of course, if it is in your faction this month, which I think this month was in the Alliance, so next month is gonna be on the Horde, you're gonna be fine. And yes, there is other options for the buff. There is 10% strength, there is some HP, whatever. You take damage every single time. Basically, you take damage every single freaking time. It's not even close. It's not even close. But very well, we have Oni, we have Rend. We boon, we go to Dire Maul, we take the buffs, we boon again. If it is the first week of the month, we go to Darkmoon Faire. If it is in the opposite faction, we gotta get a group of several people, including a mage, so we can actually pick up the buff, talk to the guy really quick, and teleport away as quickly as possible. Then we boon again, and now we are finally on the last step. Songflower Serenade. This is 5% crit and 15 strength and 15 agility, which is also pretty nice. It is also only 1 hour, and that's like one of the reasons I like doing this one last. But the main reason I want to do this one last is because it is the most reliable one. You can be safe that for the most part nobody's gonna kill you, and when you unboon you're gonna get the buff immediately, so that means less loss of time in your buffs. Now here's how it works. There is 2 quest givers. This is for the Horde right here in the south of Felwood, and this is for the Alliance just right next to it in the town of Felwood, you know, like your flight path to the Alliance is that place. And you have to do a very simple quest for that NPC where you go to a cave and you kill 15 mobs and you pick up those things and you go back. And then they are gonna give you a follow-up quest, which is Salve via hunting. You just gotta kill random mobs and you get like some soul shards from those mobs and you turn them in and you get 2 Cenarion plant salve. And this is the item you need to get the Songflower buff. So yes, you gotta kill a bunch of mobs every week to get more salves to do it again, basically. But here's the thing about the Songflower, because it is also something that is very stupid, but not as stupid as the other things, thank God. Songflowers also have a cooldown. Why do they have a cooldown? God only knows. As you can see with Nova World buffs, it shows all the cooldowns in each layer. This is all shared within the guild. Like your guildies will, your add-ons are gonna talk to each other, right? And you get this information, so the longer you're logged in, the better timers you get. But what this shows is that when this timer runs out, it's like the minutes right here in that layer. So it says like, so it says L6, L4, that's the layer, because in each cooldown you have a different, in each layer you have a different cooldown for the Songflower. And also another thing about Nova World buffs, right here in the minimap, it shows you your layer, so you can know what layer you are in. So you have to get to a flower before the cooldown pops, and you gotta right click it with the salve. And the corrupted Songflower is gonna be cleansed, and then you right click it again and you get your buff. Now here's the thing about the Songflower, and that's something very convenient for us, that because we are like in the Horde right in the flight path, there is one Songflower right next to it. If somebody cleanses the flower, there is like a 3-second grace period where if you click it at the same time as everybody else, you are gonna get the flower. So like if you got 20 people spamming right click on the flower at the same time when it pops, everybody gets the buff at the same time. So if you are Horde, you just go to the flight path right here and you wait for one of the flowers to pop and you right click it. There's gonna be like a circle of people, like Limp Biscuit, you know, there's gonna be a circle of people around the flower, and there you go, you got your wall buff. You know exactly when it's gonna drop because you got the timer and you got the salve, so you can pop it immediately. And that's why I do it the last, because that way I lose the least time on my buffs. If you are Alliance, I don't know because I don't play Alliance, but most likely you go to this one right next to the Sanctuary, probably is one of those. So technically you don't even need the salve. You could get away without doing the quest, but you might as well do it. But let's do just a little quick list of what I recommend you do. First you get Oni and Rend, and as soon as you get Onyxia and Rend, you boon, and then you have to wait for an hour for the cooldown to go out. Then we get Dire Maul, after which case we're gonna either hard and log out until we get our boon cooldown off, or like we just boon. Basically we wanna boon as quickly as we get it, and then we also gotta wait an hour, like this. Once we got those 2 buffs, we're gonna get Darkmoon Faire or DMF, and we're gonna boon immediately or port out. Like once again, you probably wanna port out if you're in the opposing faction. If it's in your faction, you got easy mode that week, and then you are gonna go get your Songflower. Obviously, after you get your Songflower, you get a boon again, so you can get the buff for the raid. The cooldown doesn't matter because there is no cooldown for opening the boon, only for booning your buffs. So that's it, you're done with the cooldown thing. But either way, okay? As you can see right here, we booned 4 times. So a DMF weekend will cost you 40 gold. That is without Solgorob. Solgorob is another buff and it hasn't come out yet. That's gonna be like a different thing. But this is 40 freaking gold. You can, if you're in a coordinated guild or if you got like very good info, you can, for example, get your DMF and pour 2 Orgrimmar and log out and like monitor the Discord until people tell you that Oni is dropping because you cannot be logged in, and log in at the second that Oni and Ren drops to save 1 Chronoboon. That's something people can do. It is not worth it, but it's still 40 freaking gold, man. Like, on top of your consumables, if you want to be an optimal warrior, you are supposed now to get 40 gold every raid. And this is why I freaking can't stand wall buffs in Era. This would be mitigated a lot if they remove the cooldown on Oni and Rend. I don't know why Rend and Oni still got a cooldown. It makes no freaking sense. If they remove that cooldown, like, you could just get Oni and Rend at last and it would be like 1 less boon, so it would be 30 gold. But you gotta get every consumable plus 40 gold every week now. Well, not every week, because you gotta get 30 every week, and 1 week of the month you gotta get 40. It is outrageous. But what do you think? Do you think they should change the cost of the Chronoboon? Do you think they should remove the cooldown of Oni and Rend? Or am I just an old man yelling at the cloud kind of deal? I got a cloud in my head. Poofy, 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 poofy. Subscribe, join the Discord, and thank you for watching.